Hey there, Kenneth French of Vast Voice, telling business secrets to entrepreneurs. We're very, very happy you stopped by. Either you're going to watch this or listen to this because you want to take your business to the next level. You're probably an entrepreneur who's either just starting out or you've been around for quite a while and you want to take your business to the next level. You're probably a real estate investor, maybe even a real estate agent, maybe a professional or of some sort, professional advisor of some sort. And well, you are stopping by because you need some valuable advice from one of the top industry leaders there is. Anyway, thank you very much. Once again, Kenneth French, Vast Voice, telling business secrets to entrepreneurs. Really glad you stopped by.
Chance, tell me a story.
Tell me a story. Start wide open. Well, you're up in the Pacific Northwest, correct?
am.
Or that's where you, yeah. Well, I did a film maybe 4 or 5, no, right before COVID. So we're at 5 years ago now. And on paper, everything that I learned about this guy was he built structural steel in, like the Seattle airport. They redid it, did structural steel. Very successful gentleman with a great company, started off small. But he was also, in 1968, he was a sophomore at Berkeley. And if you know your math, 1968 at Berkeley was a pretty wild time. Well, he got into, and mind you, I'm talking to this guy. He's just a grandpa. To me, I'm going in. I know nothing about this. He's just some grandpa. Some guy hired me to go get his dad's story. But to me, just like a grandpa. Well, we get up to the Berkeley period, and he starts talking about smoking weed, and then he started selling a little weed. And well, you flash forward to 1982, and this guy has an absolute drug ring. I mean, he's doing shipments from Mexico, from Peru, and it's no longer just marijuana, not innocent drugs, real drugs. And he's telling me all this, and I'm sitting there going, I'm trying to make a documentary for your grandkids and kids and your grandkids' grandkids. Do you want all this in there? And he's like, it's my story. And he gets out of that and he gets into start the fab shop, and, never got arrested, never got anything, had lots of run-ins with the law. But man, did I learn a lesson that you don't walk into to film somebody's life story with any expectations.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Just like you didn't have any expectations in this interview because, I didn't tell you anything in advance. I knew we were going to, go for, shoot from the hip. So why don't we give a little context, who you are and whatever, and we'll be taking about 20 minutes, a half an hour to chat about your deal. This is fun stuff.
Yeah, thank you so much. Well, my name's Chance McClain. I own a company called Heritage Films, and we operate out of Houston, Texas. It's a small city down south for you guys. Been doing it for 10 years. My background, I was in radio. I was in sports radio for a decade. Was a program director running sports radio stations. Worked for all the professional teams here in town. I got into radio from recording music about athletes, and I had a song go viral before things went viral, and I parlayed that into a career in radio. And before that, I was in the Army. Before that, I was a college kid. So now I'm 52 years old. Run a small business here that's just grown and grown. Where we're, when I first started filming people's family stories, I thought it would all be local, but it didn't dawn on me that somebody would hear about me in Houston. But Dad lives in Bainbridge, Washington, or in Seattle, or in New York, or in Mumbai. So we've grown this company over 10 years, and now I just have the absolute pleasure of getting invited into people's homes, and they open the kimono to share their stories with their family.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Sounds like you've had, done over 800 of those documentary films, and they're intimate. You're doing them really for families, which I think is pretty awesome. I think a lot of our people who are listening and watching this are, they're entrepreneurs. I could see them wanting to bring someone like you in to tell their story because maybe they want to shift their story to their kids, their beneficiaries, or whatever. So I think it's an awesome, awesome idea. So, all right, let me, I made it kind of hard, not kind of, I made it hard by saying, hey, tell me a story. What are some other interesting stories that can kind of outline a little bit about what you do, and also, who knows, maybe be a little entertaining at the same time?
Oh my gosh, there's no shortage of when somebody says, "What's the most outlandish? What's the craziest? What's the funniest?" It's like you have so many. Your brain is full of worms. There's so many different ones, and to single them out is difficult. I have to go to a region and be like, "Oh, here's the time this happened." Some of them are so heartfelt. Like there's a lot of funny, but there's also just tears are pouring down when when people are sharing their story about, their rags to riches. Well, the rags to riches part, the rags always sucks. It's always brutal, but man, do they have just pride about the bootstrap days and all of the we were poors, but we didn't know it. Um, we've had, I was doing a shoot. Let's see. I'm trying to think of something that would really stand out for your guys, business owners, guys that have started their own thing.
Yeah,
I'll tell you a funny story. Yeah, funny story. So I'm doing this film for this gentleman, and it's a signature film. So it's like some of them are just in a box, and some of them are, the sky's the limit of what we can do. This is one of those. And I'm doing a film of this guy who's a retired dentist, very successful, multiple practices around the country. But his son hired me, and he hired a package where I didn't just interview dad and mom, but I interviewed him and his siblings and the grandkids. So it was a big family product, but dad was a central figure in this. So I've interviewed dad, and he's told me all about a life of fishing and living on the Panama Canal and all this crazy stuff. And the whole family has grown up fishing. So now I'm in my client's home, and it's the home you want. It's a great place. And I said, well, your dad has told me all about your fishing. Do you have a boat now? And he's like, I do. And when we take a break, I'll show you. So I'm like, awesome. And when we go look at his boat had two boats. It was a 175-foot yacht. Yeah, it was a boat. It was a yacht. It was a super yacht. And I'm sitting there going, I asked this dude if he had a boat. We do business stories too, because you own your own business. Your business is kind of like a kid, and people really feel that. I like to say we do films for families and founders, but we did a little bar in a tiny little town in upstate New York, and I'd heard all about it. And the son is telling me how amazing this family bar is, and it's everything to him. And so we're going to interview them here locally in Houston. Then we're going to go to upstate New York to actually film this bar, to film this sleepy little town. And I'm just building this freaking. It literally opened the day that Prohibition ended. It's got this story, deep history in this little town, and I've built up this Norman Rockwell Americana. I'm going to stroll in, and I come up, and this little bar is an absolute dump.
Yeah.
It was this tiny. It didn't matter. The movie's still awesome, but we go into it. It wasn't what I envisioned at all. But then you get to talking, and you start to get the stories. And while it may not have looked beautiful, this is a place where shift workers for 80 years have gotten off work at 8 a.m, and they go on in and they get their, they get their beer and a shot, or they get their thing. And generations of people have used this place as a hub and to get to know each other. And it turns out that while I looked at it and I thought it was dumpy, it turned out it was all heart. And it was a fantastic production.
That's a pretty cool story. All your stories, I'm sure, 800 stories. I'm sure they'd be very interesting. And you know what you're doing. Oh my God, I can only imagine how you know what you're doing relative to someone who's been in the industry only for a couple of years. Wow. By the way, 800 in 10 years is unbelievable. Nice work.
It's a lot. Thank you. Yeah, and it was slow going, and obviously it starts off where I'm a artsy filmmaker, and then I got a business background first, but I get into the film stuff, and it's like you play guitar, you mess around with stuff. It's all for fun. It's all hobby. And then when you start being compensated for what is sort of a hobby, it takes it a while to turn into a business. But then when you have people saying, hey, you did something for my family and it's changed us forever, you start realizing you need to take it seriously. And then you got to start learning about crap like systems and processes. And yeah, it's been an amazing journey. I switched my content from what I consume now. It's things like your show, where I want to learn from there isn't an episode you have that doesn't benefit this kid in some way, because you talk to such a variety of folks.
I bet. By the way, before I forget, how does someone get a hold of you if they're interested in your services?
Yourheritagefilm.com is our
what is
website.
It again?
Yourheritagefilm.com.
Got
It's the worst website ever because people can't spell your. You are heritage. No. Yourheritagefilm.com.
Sweet. Okay, cool. All right, I'm going to ask a couple more questions. So,
Sure.
I don't know if you know, but we do a lot of artificial intelligence. We've been doing it for years, since really 2010. We had our own model in 2018. We use it to lower tax liability and help entrepreneurs with their with their finances. And we know that AI is totally impacting the industry. Have you been using AI in your industry? Number one. And then number two, are you worried about the potential impact if you have not?
To answer your question, yes and yes. The two primary ways that we use it without getting too tech, because you get into a specific thing, your audience is going to doze off. On the pre-production side, you fill out a bunch of forms because I got to learn about the people I'm going to talk to. And in the past, I would only want 2 or 3 pieces of content coming towards me so I could learn about grandma. Well, now give me everything. Send me everything you have. And then we're going to put it through a Notebook LM or Claude, or we have several different channels, whatever works right. And I'm able to dialogue with it to create what I call a producer guide, which I still have my process. It's all still here, but my goodness, I'm able to get a lot more intimate by being able to consume more stuff from the family when I show up. And then on the back end, on the production side, you're familiar, I'm sure, with tools like 11 Labs. Grandma's talking on her movie, and she says, I asked a question about what'd your dad do, and he says he was a sailor. Well, that he was a sailor, the audience doesn't have context. We can now clone her voice so that we put a picture of dad on top of it, and you hear grandma say, my dad Charlie was a sailor. And then there's lots of little tools we use on the video production side, all exclusively to increase the quality of the film. We want to make them as future proof as possible. We don't want a camcorder. We're going to roll in with good equipment, but then that happens on the post-production as well. It's going to be done professionally, and it's going to be done. I'm a nerd. I geek out on this stuff. I'm
impressed. You know more than most people. That's pretty impressive. By the way, all that stuff you mentioned, it should be able to be getting you an what's called an R&D tax credit, just so you know. Meaning you can get money back from the government dollar for dollar versus a normal deduction because some of the stuff you mentioned. Just to let you know, you should talk to your tax advisor.
Yeah, I should find a new tax advisor.
Yeah. Well, you can always call us.
Yeah.
By the way, the information on that is at vastsolutionsgroupai.com, which is a little runoff on our normal website, which is vastsolutionsgroup.com. Anyway, I'm impressed. You know more than most people. But anyway, just so you're the knowledge. Yeah, you could get tax credits back to the government. Anyway,
unbelievable. I had no idea.
Yeah, so I'm here for you there, buddy. Okay, so I like your story. So then what's it like? I could just call you, get a hold of you, go to the website, and then your television crew, or how does that work? Help me.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the note. You learned about me, and you go to the website and fill out a little old school contact us form. Oh. And then what you're going to do is you're going to get a text from me or one of my guys, and it's going to say, hey, this is Chance from Heritage Films. Thanks for reaching out. Let me know when you can chat. And then we talk to you on the phone and hear about your dad or whoever it is, or yourself or your business, whatever it is. You tell us about, here's my thing, here's my jam. And then we make a package for you. You say, okay, cool. It's going to be X amount of dollars. And then we collect a small deposit, and then we go through all the production. We go through all of everything, all the travel, all that good stuff. Show up at dad's house. The simplest version is we show up at dad's house. We set up lights, cameras, microphones, all this stuff. It looks like a spaceship landed in the living room. And while the guys are setting all the stuff up, I'm sitting there. I've already ingested all this information about dad. I'm just chopping at the bit, ready to go talk to him. So we're sitting in the kitchen. I'm just breaking the ice. I'm visiting with him. I'm asking further questions because I'm curious. I'm like, oh my gosh, you were whatever. So we're just talking. And this whole time I'm talking, if he's nervous, the nerves are going down, they're going down. And then we just carry that little conversation into where we're set up in his living room, and we just start chatting. And it's not an interview. I tell everybody, this isn't a Barbara Walters Q&A. We visit, heartfelt, thoughtful. There's laughter, there's tears, all that good stuff. We take lots of breaks. Everything you can fathom. And then when we finish, whether it's a day, 2, 10, whatever it is, production phase is over. Then we start editing, and we go through all that. And it could be 6 weeks, could be 12 weeks later. When we're quote done with the product, we're going to send you the review link. Hey, your film's done. It's the best one we've ever made. By the way, if we screwed something up, we misspelled some crazy Polish last name or some town in Mexico, you get to review it. And we have an online tool it's like watching a YouTube video, but you push pause and you're like, hey, this is how you spell you make corrections for us. And then that's when we send the final bill. And then we deliver 2 things. We deliver a copy in the cloud. You download, email, it's your movie, put it on YouTube. I don't care, do whatever you want with it. Then we send you a physical copy on a stick Or if you're old school, if you're our age and you still want a DVD for some crazy reason, we'll burn you a DVD that looks like crap. But some people still want them. We still do them.
Huh. I got it. I got it. Wow. So it sounds like it's an added value thing to a family in a big way. And you also do the same thing for corporations.
Yeah, corporations. We've done everything. We do these things that they're so. We do a thing called corporate profiles. So like C-suite guys, which is applying all of the same thing where we talk, but we skew it more towards business development. And we're able to roll in with a professional film crew and create awesome video for the C-suite guys where they get to share about specifically business. Those, I'll walk in if it's an oil and gas company, I'll have an 8th grade education on what they do for a living. So I'm more water skiing behind them, but we're creating professional stuff for them. And then, yeah, the family-owned businesses, like I mentioned earlier, people treat them like a kid, and we kind of do the same way. Family-owned business is you tell the founder's story, and then this chapter in the story usually ends with, "I saw this giant problem, and I was like, God, I think I could do that better." And that turns into the business.
Mm.
And now we have something that we can still put together the family story, but now we have something they can put on their website. They could do on their iPads, and the company can pay for it. It's now a marketing element.
Which also, I assume that also you do a lot of social media type stuff, meaning they could strip that out into social media stuff, et cetera, if they want to, I guess.
If they want to, yeah, we absolutely, like most film companies, you buy your product and they give you, here's your film, Vast. That's not my world. My world is I'm making your movie, but everything I shoot, it's so intimate, it's so personal. If they want it, you can have it. And so companies do that all the time. Now they've got hours of very professional video for them to slice and dice and make their own social media things. But yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. All right. So now we're coming close to the end. Give me one thing that, no, I'm going to ask 2 questions. First,
Yes, sir.
you're a business owner, you've grown quickly. What has been your key to success, number 1? And then number 2, to close it out, give me a really cool last story. And just don't lie, but make it interesting.
No, yeah. Okay, my key to success, if we can call it that. And by the way, quick success, it's that overnight 10-year success story that everybody's heard about. I switched gears somewhere along the way and started obsessing on quality. Like rather than when they started off, they were just another gig. I was doing TV commercials and I was doing corporate internet videos, and it was just another gig. And when I started seeing how people reacted and how it was changing families for the better, and it was bonding relationships, I started obsessing on the quality, and I basically haven't stopped. And it's quality for me is 2 things, because we show up to people's homes that have never done film stuff. I want to create a quality experience too. And it goes, I'm a huge Walt Disney the man, a fan of how he thought. I've read everything there is on him, and he cared deeply about the experience when he was alive. I want them to have a blast. I want to use the clapper. I want to bring some Hollywood into their home so that they're like, that was the most fun day. And then we swam in nostalgia. So the experience is good. But then we're filmmakers. We're going to spaz out and try to make the best movie ever. So yeah, where my business really changed was when I stopped worrying about dollars and started worrying about crazy quality. Just make it excellent.
You're right.
Yeah.
I totally get that, because without quality, you have nothing. You can have great marketing, but if you mess up, the quality is bad, Q&A is bad. It doesn't matter how much marketing you have coming in; it'll all die off.
Right. Yeah. And plus, you can be proud of everything you did. Even like things go south, you're like, I killed it. So okay, things went south. It's human, but I killed it.
Yep,
Yeah.
I totally get it.
And
my last question, one last story, because I think you have so many of the 800, I'm sure. Give us one last story to say goodbye.
Sure. Okay, here's one. I was doing this film, and this man is. Oh God, there's so many.
I know.
Okay. I want to do one that sounds like your neighbor down the road rather than involved a private jet, like just your neighbor down the road, right? So I'm filming this guy, and he's been really nice and fun and awesome the whole time. And he went through his early career, and he mentioned his secretary Sabrina just in passing. She worked with us for years, and keeps going on. And then as the day goes on, he's almost like sliding down in his chair and he's scratching his face and stuff. And it's going on and on. When we get towards the end of the film where I get to the waterworks part where we're like, hey man, this has been amazing getting to know you. He had lost his wife 7 years ago. We literally cried together. And we're at the part where I'm like, what do you want for the future of your family? What is important about the Hensley family? What, hypothetically, if his name was Hensley,
Okay.
what it was totally Hensley, by the way. I said, what do you want your I know, whatever. What do you want your kids, grandkids, their future grandkids to know? He's like, well, my faith comes from, and he's like, I got to tell you something. I need to share something with you. I said, yes, sir. I'm all day. I'm right here. He's like, do you remember earlier when I told you about Sabrina? And I was like, I do. Yes, sir. I certainly do. He's like, well, I had an affair with her for 25 years.
Oh, wait, and his wife died.
And his wife died 7 years before. And I'm sitting there going, wow. He's like, I've never told anybody. And I hate myself for it. And I've said, well, sir, it's been a long time. So anyway, I get us back on the track and finish up the interview, got the grandkids, so all good. I'm on my way home and I get a call from my client, his son. And he's like, how'd it go? I said, dude, it's awesome. It was really, your dad, what a giant heart. What a loving, wonderful man. He's like, did he bring up anything that was awkward? And I'm going, well, every film, it's pretty intimate. Every film has stuff. And, some stuff we edit, some. He's like, did he say anything about Sabrina? And I was like, yeah, he actually did. He did. He goes, I wish he would just tell us. We all knew. He goes, it's going to make me cry, dude. He goes, Mom knew. Mom knew when she died, but because he had broke off the relationship. Mom knew. And anyway, he's like, mom knew. I said, dude, do me a favor. Call your dad and tell him, because he's a 90-year-old wreck of a person if he's been forgiven, dude, he needs to know.
Yeah, exactly. You never know. Yeah, you're exactly right.
Yeah. So again, I could do a trillion. Put it this way, something special. I do have the best job in the world because nobody calls me that's ego. They call me because they love dad or love mom or love grandma or love Uncle Joe and want to take his values that they love. I want to make sure that so I have great clients. I have the best. The subjects raise the people that think like that. It's awesome.
Yeah, you do have a good gig. So once again, how's someone get a hold of you?
Oh man, thank you. It's yourheritagefilm.com.
Nice.
See, I was in radio, so I can talk like that.
Yeah, you can tell actually. Yes, man. Thanks for spending time with us. And for all those people out there, thanks for watching and listening to The Vast Voice, telling business secrets to entrepreneurs. Ken French signing out. Bye, guys.